It's happening. I'm gonna be working on the series. You guys express your interest, and I really want to do it myself. We're gonna make it happen. And in this video, I'm adding another piece to the series. I don't know how far I'm gonna take this, but I'm excited about where it could go. I'm not gonna hold you too long. We're gonna jump right into this thing. We're gonna need a few tools, some lumber, and we're gonna make a trip over to the miter saw. Let's do this. The miter saw is one of the few power tools I'll be using. I have all the parts cut and ready to go. This entire project will be held together with nothing but wood glue and dowels. I'll put some generic labels on the parts so I can keep track of which side goes where. When I'm labeling, I typically like to go with letters. I'll put that on both parts that's gonna be touching each other. It also helps later when you're assembling things, you'll instantly know the two letters go together. The jig I'm using here is called the Dowel Max, and you can drill up to 5 holes. I'm only gonna do 3. And with that done, I'm going to loosen the jig, shift it to the other side, and drill 3 additional holes. On this lumber, I'm drilling the face of it. On the adjacent lumber, I'll be drilling the end grain. With the label I made, that helped me keep track of which piece to drill next. Before you move on to the next joint, I always find it helpful to dry fit the parts to make sure they're good. In my eyes, this is a good fit. I find this to be a very slow process, and I prefer to start on things like this early in the morning. I wouldn't suggest starting a project like this while you have other things going on, like cooking dinner or in between your TV commercials, or even if you work from home and you doing it on your lunch break. Bottom line is, a lot of patience is required here and you shouldn't feel rushed. It's been a while since I drilled this many, hold on, let me say this clearly, holes. Just in case you missed it and you want to know how do I know which part goes together, I put labels on them. So I'm near the stage of putting everything together, but before I move on and start gluing things together, one thing I have to do is do a dry fit. Always do a dry fit. I generally have more confidence things are gonna work out if I do a dry fit. The only thing I didn't consider is how long it was gonna take to do this dry fit. It was a lot of time, but it was worth it for the confirmation. Based on what I see, it's good enough to start gluing. Much of the next steps is gonna be self-explanatory, so I'm gonna whip out the glue, brush, and everything else I need to start gluing. This frame per se will be held together by 4 dowels, 2 amongst the long side of the frame. Doing my dry fit confirmed that everything should align. That means any issue I have here is just a matter of making adjustments as I'm making the glue up, but everything should fit. I'll let this sit for a while and allow the glue to dry, then go on to sanding it down. Often, I like to sand the parts down as things are loose and easy to work with. In this case, there are a lot of parts on here that I'm not going to see or need to apply finish to, and didn't feel I need to waste my time sanding it down. So sanding at this stage seems to be more efficient. I used a belt sander and 80 grit sandpaper to knock off some of the rough texture. Then I switched over to an orbital sander to clean things up. While I'm trying to keep the look of the previous project, the chair, I'll be applying the same finish. It's a two-tone project and I want to be subtle with how I go about it. I'm applying a golden pecan stain at the top, and I'll finish off the bottom with the darker color, the iron ore. Before I apply the darker color, I'll mix up some primer and apply that first. I carried the primer all around the body of the planter. And finally, it was on to adding the iron ore. Since I'm putting a dark color over a light, I had to put 2 coats of this. Alright, so here it is, the second piece to the series. It's done. I like the way the planner came out, and I'm looking forward to starting the next piece. Although this planner looked really easy and simple, there was a lot of work that went into this in order to make things work correctly. I'm excited about that. I would like to know what you guys want to see next. Let me know down in the comments. I have some ideas, but I don't know what the next video is going to be yet. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one.